Alrighty guys, I just wanted to show you the map before the army comps. At its most pure form, no armies on here besides these. So basically we have two bridges here, one ditch. You can kind of traverse through here, through that gap there. You can kind of get back here, little ramp here. So when the defenders do defend, they can defend this checkpoint and these checkpoints. So two checkpoints to defend. Besides that, very small area and a bit of a ramp kind of going up here where you can place archers. And a little kind of safe haven in there. And a little kind of safe sort of place back here as well. That's basically it. You can kind of shoot in there a little bit. But that's the main kind of map where the battle's going to be fought. Alright guys, now to the army comps. First we have the three attackers, myself playing as Angmar, Top playing as Rhun, and Coronel playing as Misty. For the defenders we have Farkin as Erebor and Flamesdale. With these army comps, they're not necessarily like exact. See the Florin disparity here. So there's a few maybe units that are wrong, or the spears and upgrades are not correct. Just because you can't really, it's hard to see, especially if the weapon upgrades, most of them you can't even tell. But nonetheless, these are the main ideas of each army comps. So we have some Inquisitors, lots of infantry ready to push, barrows, they'll go up first. As barrows do, they can soak up the ammo. We have some trolls here to help with the push and this Black Watch. And some Guardians of Khandoom here. They play their part. So, and the Cav's kind of just to cause mayhem and disrupt the enemy. Rhun played by Top. We have the Elite, Kamal's Chosen here. Few archers, the Ranger, 3 crossbows. We have 4 spears. The Locust Sky under him are a spear and shield. So you can take archer, fire a little better. And these guys are purely a pike, or even a halberd. More of a halberd, I'd say. We have 3 axemen here and 2 javies. So pretty reasonably well balanced army. Misty played by Coronel, we have 3 spears, 3 infantry, 5 infantry. This is the heavy, that's for light. 2 elites up here, the 2 crossbows, and the 2 snuggle skirmishers. These guys are also pretty good. Locked morale, which is nice. Some Drake broodlings, which do a fair bit of work there. White Uruks, not too sure how good they are. I'm pretty sure they're a halberd unit. Have to double check that. The defenders, Erebor played by Farkin. We have the Blacklock engineers. Lots of shields and axes here, as Erebor does. 3 elites, Sons of Durin, Highborns, Dragon Slayers. 2 pikes, 2 Ironfoots, 2 Ironfoot pikes, and Ironfoot halberds, and a catapult. So, yeah, pretty small army. 3 elites is an interesting choice. So yeah, really gonna have to look after those elites, otherwise they're gonna get overrun, especially by quantity. Dale, 5 archers, all pretty standard, not great archers, but they do their part. Some infantry as well, also an archer unit. And the 2 better archers here, we have the Dragon Slayers, who are armor piercing, I believe, and the Othello Rangers, who are very good as rangers, just typical ranger, basically. We have 3 dismounted earls, 2 barding herd, and a paladin. No javies, but that's okay. They got these elite archers and just a heap of archers, really. So that, just from these army comps, you can tell it's really just going to be holding that front line, using archers and the catapult and the crossbows as well. Because 10 archers is a lot. If we push through, they're kind of screwed. Because that's 10 archers gone to waste if that does happen. So now we'll get to the battle. Okay guys, here we are on the battlefield. We haven't actually started just yet, we're in the grace period. But I do just want to say this is the first part that's kind of important. So we see there Erebor and Dale. They don't actually defend this part, they do pull back. But sort of at this stage in the battle, we're kind of figuring out like who wants to go where. Because depending on like armor and what type of armies you got, it's kind of necessary to figure out which is the best way to go. So they've got archers up here. Angmar's pretty highly armored, so I'm trying to lean towards this way. I think top playing as Rhun is kind of more angles through here, so that's kind of his idea, pushing through. He's going to deploy through there. And Misty ends up going through this way mostly, but more one at a time, leaving a lot of his forces back here just so he doesn't get sprayed down by archers, because that corridor is deadly. So that's that first important point to make. One more slight thing to take into account, I did miss these two black Uruks in the army comp, so Misty does have these. Alright guys, I think I just cut in here to give a little update on the formations. So he has some infantry here, Flame does. Dale Bowman and infantry set up here, which is a nice spot. Shoot down there with this ramp. Bowman here, the Kata might be smart to push up here, which I think he does end up doing. Blackshot's safe back here along with some marksmen. Same with these elites, safe in the rear. Always smart to do to keep them, and he's also got a few units blobbed up in here, relatively safe as well. Which is smart considering how small this area is. You don't want to blob up. Because Rhun here has a pretty deadly missile force, so for them to avoid that is very important. Alright guys, we're nearing to the start of the battle. We have some barrows moving up. The volleys have started. Good thing about this, there's no cav to worry about, so the barrows aren't going to be in too much strife here. Really, the more shots fired at the barrows, the better. You can see that sword upgrade. Decent shot by the cattle. Decent shot. Just keep these guys moving up. We got Variac mercenaries, crossbows going on the flanks. So you can see Coronel's basically fully taking this side, which is a good move. Otherwise it's too crowded here as well. A lot of elites. I know he has his Sons of Durin on this side somewhere. Obsidian Guard as well. Kata did get a nice shot on these barrows, but ooh, another decent shot. Dragon Slayer's moving up. The idea with the Dragon Slayers is just to cut them down, really. Now I am going to put these in loose formation. And yeah, as Coronel is doing, he's staying back, which is nice. Slowly moving forward. And these armoured stuff units can take a hit from these, what do we got, Laketown infantry and some marksmen and whatnot. Now I do have 2 units of barrow, so I am sending this the other way, just to support Coronel's force, just a little more. One thing to mention with the barrows, for those who don't know, these guys will really last long term in melee, so getting them in early. Also they're quite slow, so earlier the better with barrows, generally speaking. Now, first main mistake I've already noticed is the defenders don't have any cav. So right now, these barrows could easily just be charged and cause a lot of havoc for us attackers. So whenever you're versing Angmar in a siege, they're probably going to bring barrows, bring cav to counter it. Or this can be countered by putting pikes in here. But simply getting archers and focusing down the pikes can be a counter to that. So either way, bringing cav against oh, okay, they're good shots. That's really going to hurt that barrow unit. Looks like top's crossbowing the Dragon Slayers, which is a good move. Crossbows deal high damage to a unit like that. First engagement has started. Got the cav ready. I do use this cav quite well, as you're about to see. Crossbows shooting over here, which is nice. Very good angle here from top. Okay, here comes the other barrows. Now, Formation is Ironfoot Warriors, Ironfoot Pikes, Paladins, and Highborns. So just a mighty deadly force here. So it really is going to be a slog over here for the Colonel and the Orcs of Misty Mountains. Yeah, although this is a massive, that's an awesome shot there. Might get a screenshot of that actually, that's sick. There we go. So they're going to push up, barrows are engaged. Won't last for too long without help, but help is coming. Dragon Slayers are out here. Inquisitors, do get a charge on them, hopefully another one. The idea with the cab here is to really just cause mayhem, and they got no, here comes some halberds. Yeah, they just got to keep dealing that damage. Very good. Barrows just got to move up as well. We have one Dragon Slayer stuck there. What do I do here? It's, oh, that was a, oh, deadly volleys there. Keep in mind, the barrows cost a full 1,000 florins, so loss, that's a big loss in value there. 68 can still do their part. It's not over yet. Here comes the orcs, or the goblins. Looks like he's got some heavy goblin inf mixed with the goblin inf. Be nice to get some armor piercing in there, which I believe the spears and halberds do, which is very good. Yep. You can tell with the goblin spears, the spear's got a slight axe on the end of it, so it is armor piercing. Have to double check, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Nice charge out here. Really struggling to contain that cav. I think they're kind of focused. Another thing to point out is they've got to micromanage each side, so it's not like one defender's doing one side each. They're kind of both doing each side. So it's like a slight micro, more micro they got to do. Not a massive amount, but it's still noticeable. Right there is massive. So these Inquisitors wipe out the Sons of Durin, as well as the General. Balance of power not looking good for the defenders right now. That's a big play. Barrows, almost time to do a big push here because they're looking kind of weak right now. So already these Inquisitors have paid off in value, which is very good. Inquisitors do get out, it looks like. They just got to keep pushing. What else? Big fight over here. Looks like the AP's finally in there. Now this is just such a stubborn defense. It's going to be really tough. Yeah, didn't expect too much here. That's okay. They focus so many elites on this side. Really targets over here at this point. So Colonel slowing down his forces is probably a good idea. Which is what he's kind of doing. Not committing anymore. Barrows making a bit of leeway on the left flank here. Very nice. These guys still doing their part. 16 left. Barrows are right in the fight. And these crossbows, are they shooting? No, they're holding fire for now. Variag mercenaries. So, for those who don't know, archers get a better angle across here. Eastern crossbows, not as good, but further out they'll still do fine. So overall, tough start for the defenders. Although we've definitely copped more losses. We've lost 17%, so 6% more than the defenders. But that's to be expected, right? With Misty, Angmar, and Rhun. Especially with Misty, a lot of Misty fodder. Alright, here comes the cav again. So Lake Town infantry should break relatively soon. Now, pace is picking up just a bit. Snarger Stalker's coming out. Not a great unit, but bang for buck is definitely there. It is 50 florins for a really big unit, however weak they may be. Might get a charge here, although we don't want to get stuck. Cutter shots out here. Brutal fight. Now this flank's definitely not going to win this fight, but that's to be expected as said before. Ooh. No charge yet, although these guys might catch the cav. No. What do we got? Snarger Stalkers and Barrows still. So when you're attacking, engaging the defender's infantry in a way where it's... even if you're not going to win it, if you can just engage their infantry, attackers generally have better quantity and quality. at least due to the fact there's more florins for attackers. So in a one-on-one infantry fight, it's generally favours the attackers. That's all things being equal though. Catter shot, good archer fire is the main counter to that. Now, definitely some archers focusing on these halberds. Less armoured than the shielded units. It's a good target there. These Snaga Stalkers, next one ready to pop in. We do have some stronger units coming up. We got the Mountain Orc Berserkers, which are on pikemen helping out this side as well, just to really help this front line out. Pikes are always important in front lines. Ooh, almost a bit of friendly fire there almost. Do have some strong pushing here. Now these guys will definitely cause some damage. Yep, very good. The next Snaga Stalker unit's in. The cab's coming out to play again. So ground's definitely being made on this side. This side's still doing its part, just occupying and distracting a lot of these elites back here. And they do notice this side's where they got to go, so they are sending a few units back there. And already it's quite, there's not as many in reserve as the beginning of the battle. Cav sneaking by here, although they are wavering. We do have these guys sneaking up too, both wavering. Eastron crossbowmen, looks like they're out of ammo. Time to get them in the fight. So I am sending some infantry this way. Javi's moving up as well. So a lot more commitment here from the defenders, which is a smart move. Although a lot of bunching. So Top's archers can probably do some work here. If he's noticed it, he's probably busy microing right now. A lot more infantry being committed on this flank. Due to the lack of numbers here now, so pushing on this side is probably a good move, which is what Colonel's doing. So all of a sudden the pace is really picking up. Gundabad Guard to help push on this side as well. Spears and shields always key in like pushing, because they can take hits, a lot more hits. Trolls of Angmar getting in there. Snagas are breaking, and we do have, what do we have here? Yeah, the Javies doing their thing. Very nice angle there. Cav still going rampant right now. Trying to wipe out these Sons of Durin. Not too many good charges though so far. So pretty brutal fight here on the front. Looks like we've got a lot of archers firing at this point. Rangers almost ready to shoot, I think, yeah. Good target. Excuse me, whoa. What a cutter shot. Jeez, that was a good shot. Brooding, going for that cutter, smart move. That needs to be silenced because that is a massive pit right there. Here comes the Blackwatch. Now here's where the real push starts. Blackwatch really getting in there. How are we doing on this side? Yep. Lines are really thin now. Really thin. Exposing these flanks like this where they're especially weak, smart. Getting through there. Setting up trolls right now, which is what I'm trying to do to silence all of these archers. Getting rid of these will be good as well. And considering the Dwarven General is dead, you can already see the wavering from a lot of troops. Although, what do we have here? Pulling back for now, which is interesting. Right now's the time to push. Here we go. Blackwatch making some massive ground here. Brooding, still going at it. Silencing these Kelduin River Patrol. On this side, here comes the Obsidian Guard. Now this flank's going to be a little stronger, just because of this unit here. Still got a solid line, but over here it's fully broken. Got the Black Guard going into some elites. And how are the Blackwatch doing? Looks like I'm trying to break this other flank here. Get all of these guys out of formation. This side should just about be broken, yeah. Brooding's still going at it. Those Broodling have been very good. And all of a sudden, the defenses are crumbling very rapidly. Gundabad Guard pushing through. Just everything is at this point. And at a time like this, you just don't slow down when you got a massive gap. Reserves. Still got a fair bit from Rhun. Most of my units, Misty's still got a fair bit in reserve as well. And here comes the main break here. Pushing these guys, spamming through is the key thing here. Trolls, trying to silence what they can. Yeah, and here comes the rest of Rhun. So just like that, it's been a pretty one-sided fight. Yeah, there goes the Broodling, still alive somehow. Black Watch still pushing as well. And on this side, the Cav still alive too. And just like that, guys, it's pretty much done. Got a few dwarves back here, but this in here is done for. All these archers are going to get decimated. These guys can hold their own, but not against this. It's just too much. And really just pushing as fast as possible to limit casualties. And just like that, one of the players have admitted defeat, the dwarves. And at this point, guys, this is the last remains of the defenders. So that's pretty much game. There goes the Dalian general. Kill-wise, let's see here. Barrow Whites did their part. Oh my god. Very good. So really, guys, it was a bit of one-sided. I have to say the defenders didn't really... I don't know. The army comp probably wasn't the best for this map. 10 archers on such a small space. Maybe a Javi faction would have been better. And then dwarves. Yeah, letting that cav through at the start was also pretty rough. Good catter hits. But overall, defenders, wrong army comps and didn't really stop the push. So that's pretty much the reason why they lost. And attackers made a good push and made gaps in the lines. So that's pretty much why the attackers won, in my opinion. So a good fight, and I'll see you guys in the next one.